Okay, so we're going to pray that my internet holds up. It says I have low bandwidth. So I'm going to kick it over here in just a second, but I wanted to welcome everybody to our November team call. And I would like everyone to pop in the chat what their wins and learns were for October. It's one thing that we do on our team consistently, which is practice gratitude. So please pop your wins in the chat. If you are brand new and this is your very first team call, please pop it in the chat as well, because we want to welcome you to our team. So I wanted to kick off really fast with a few stats that are super fun. So we had over 260 new VIPs added to the team. There were 22 brand ambassador upgrades. We had a lot of rank ups. Okay, so get ready, hang on to your hat. We had 8 silvers, 5 senior silvers, 3 golds, 2 of whom were fast start golds, a senior gold, and a senior ruby. And I'm just going to shout out I'm going to shout out Lisa Goodwin because she went senior ruby. Please celebrate her and the people I'm going to mention in the chat. Gretchen Goff, who has been on the team for Gretchen, you'll have, if she's on, you'll have to chime in how many years you've been in Plexus. But I remember her coming to an event here at the house and encouraging her just to share. And so here we are years later. She started sharing really consistently a year ago. And so she is senior gold. And then we have, let's see, we have Annette and Addie, our new fast start golds. Justin's coming in with his salad.
Oh yeah, being obedient.
And then Hannah, who is Addie's sister, went fast start senior silver and silver and senior silver. And I will say Annette and Addie also both. Well, I'm pretty sure Annette triple ranked in a month, and then Addie double ranked. So I know there's more. So please shout out your silvers, senior silvers, fast starters. Like, let's chime in, everybody. If you ranked up and I didn't mention your name, please shout yourself out too, because that is super fun and exciting. All right, so we have some incentives this month. So for new VIPs, there's 15% off their first order. Don't get confused, because last month we had free shipping, but it's not free shipping this month. It's 15% off the first order, and then the free shipping falls in December and January. So you want to keep your people on their subscription. You want them to stay consistent with their orders, help them have a great product experience. Make sure they're at 100 PV and they have their sub on. Okay, and then we have the cash for Christmas. So you enroll 3, you get $150 cash. If you enroll 6, you add $150 onto that. If you add 9, there's another $150. So you have a total of, who can do fast math? $450, right? For adding 9. So lots of cash on the table. Plexus really has some great things in store for those of us working in this business. Plus next day pay. If you have enjoyed next day pay, chime it in the chat. I know Addie really, really enjoyed seeing those little pings and dings hitting her cell phone saying, you've got money. And the little dopamine hit when you not only sign a new, like, it's a win every time you sign a new VIP, but to get paid like within the next business day is another little like encouragement to like keep going. We're still rolling with Icon Club and Leaders Retreat contest. So keep dreaming about toes in the sand in February when it's dreary pretty much 99% of the earth, or at least where we all live, in February. So that is something that we want to be working towards. And don't forget, we have a little No Quit November challenge going on. It starts next Monday, so you can continue to promote that. If you didn't see it on the team page yet, go check out the details for that. I promise you have not posted about it too many times. A little reminder, if you haven't, pop some things in your stories, pop some things on your Facebook wall about it. That would be and also I feel like it's easier when we're working this business to have something to invite to. I mean, there's nothing wrong with just a quick reach out to people, but also it's a little easier when you have just an informative event or a challenge or something to say, hey, do you want to be part of this? So, okay, well, I am going to actually turn it over to Lisa Winters, and Lisa and I
shout out somebody.
Okay, you want to do it right now?
Yeah, I want to shout out Kevin Booker, really awesome buck up in Maine. Oh yeah,
big deer hunters over here too. So
it was awesome. So anyway, here's my shout out.
Go Kevin. Okay, so Lisa and I go way back. I can't remember how many years it's been, but my mom basically had to convince her to go ahead and try Plexus after deliberating for about 3 months. And so she finally started. And then at some point she decided to share. I don't remember exactly what was the little clicker for her, but I am so proud of her. She is 10 years in to Plexus, and she had the best she PR'd like personal record for October for personal enrollments. And I want her to share what's working now, what shifted, like tell the story. So Lisa's going to share, and then she's going to kick it over to Amy. But please make sure that you have your pens and papers out, because you're going to want to take a lot of notes, because these girls have incredible things to share with us.
Thank you so much. Okay, first of all, I say this all the time, over 10 years, but we are on the best team. And I'm not just saying that. If Megan and Justin weren't on the call right now, I tell everybody that. I'm so grateful that God had this plan sovereignly, that I would sign up under Justin and Megan Goff. And so, yes, just like she said it, I trusted her. I trusted her mom. And I remember saying, I don't like the name of the pink drink, that it's called Slim. And I don't like that. And I'm not doing any sharing. I'm not going to sell it. I was really kind of snarky about it in the beginning. And you know what happens when I had no more sugar cravings? The afternoon nap was gone, and the PMS that I struggled with my whole life, my husband called it my little ball of anger, that left in month 3. And so that literally was a catalyst for a business that I didn't even realize that I needed. That the personal growth that I have received from working this business, the relationships that I have been blessed with, I can't even tell you. I still am passionate about it, and I can tell you that I have a renewed passion in the month of October. And so this is what I'm going to talk to you about, and then I'm going to turn it over to Amy, and she's going to share as well. So I've been in it for 10 years. I signed up in 2015, and I was thinking about this. I was in my 40s, you guys, when I signed up. I'm now in my 50s. It's a little weird feeling. I'm just like, okay. But I can tell you that I feel better in my 50s than I did in my 30s, because Plexus has made such a difference in my overall health and all the things. But it has been a journey, and that is where that personal growth comes in. And so when you're sharing with people, I hit Emerald in 2017, and then it's been kind of up and down. I had a few years where it was like consistent there and then down. And so recently, this past year, it has been still a blessing, and still sharing, still working it, but didn't really have the faith that I could rebuild it again, that I could see momentum on the team. And probably many of you know that my husband is a pastor here in Maine. And so I love people. We love people. I think we all can say we love people, that we share Plexus, right? We're passionate about helping other people. And so our church is growing. We have all kinds of stuff going on, and I'm heavily involved in that. I love that so much. And then I have this Plexus business over here. And so trying to juggle, because everybody's busy, right? We are all busy. It doesn't matter if we have small children. All of my kids, my 4th one is getting married in March, and he's hardly ever around anymore. I'm busier now, you guys, than I was when I had little kids. So life doesn't I want to stay busy. I don't want to just stay home and knit. And if you do stay home and knit, that's totally great. I, however, don't want to do that. I want to be like onward and upward. I've got to have lots of irons in the fire. So, but I felt kind of probably a little bit discouraged this summer. And if those of you that do the DISC personality, I am an I, and the I is woohoo. Like, I want to influence people. That's when I feel encouraged, when I can see people encouraged, and when I can see people catch vision for whatever, they need to catch vision for. And so Amy and I had talked about doing a retreat for our team. We hadn't done one for a few years. And so we literally had gone and back and forth, and I'm not going to share what she's going to be sharing, but she has had, as you guys know, you followed the whole thing with London and all that they have gone through with that. So that really did affect all the way that she worked her business, but that didn't affect the way I work my business. I just wasn't working it as hard as I should have been working it. That's just honestly. And so we were going back and forth saying, we really feel like we need to do a retreat, but and we pray together. So we were like, okay, what should we do? here's the deal. So we planned it, and then we would go, are you sure we're supposed to do it? Because it's a sacrifice. Whatever we do in working our business, or whatever you are doing in life that's worth doing at all, it's going to be a sacrifice. It's going to take time. It's not going to be convenient. A lot of times it's going to take your mental, emotional, and probably some financial resources to do it. And so I remember we both were talking, and we were like, okay, it's do or die. We got to just, we were, had planned it, but we're like, are you sure? And so I
Well,
remember
we didn't
having
even
this,
know if people would come. We were like, do we have to like
yeah,
pay people to come? Do we have to bribe them to come? I don't
yeah.
know.
Are they going to want to come? Like, is this going to work? You know? And so I remember us saying, and I can't remember exactly the exact words, but I remember the thought and us communicating, let's just do the next right thing. I remember Elizabeth Elliot said that, do the next right thing for the glory of God. And that is what we said, let's just do the next right thing. And so we had Amy did the agenda. She's great at doing that. We had our agenda. We bought gifts. We love doing that for our team. We made it really special and very sweet. And there were
But
just a
very
few of us.
simple. We stayed
Very
local.
simple.
We stayed at Lisa's house, and it was 24 hours.
Yes. It was and so, but I can tell you a few things came out of the month of October. We need to do things, and even if it's imperfectly done, it is better to do something and get it done than to not do it at all. And if you're a perfectionist, if you want things to be done a certain way, I'm kind of controlling. I found that out as I'm in my 50s. I'm like, I want things done a certain way around my house. I want things done a certain way. And so we have to give things away. We have to be willing to say, I'm going to work this imperfectly. Now, yes, let's do it to the best of our ability. But if that means that we're not going to do it because it can't be perfect, then we need to just get rid of that thinking. And so we did. And it was still sweet. It was still nice. But I remember specifically when I could tell on the inside of me when things started to shift. There was this post that we that we shared that felt kind of salesy. Miranda, you signed on because of that little post, and I'm just going to share this with you guys. I worry what people think. Okay, this is I'm a recovering people pleaser. And in all honesty, because of our church, I don't want to seem salesy and I don't want to offend. Okay. And so that, and Megan knows, I've talked through many times. I talked to Amy, how does this seem? So literally guys, I'm sitting at the retreat and I know who else is here that was at that moment. I don't think Nicole, had you come yet? I think you had come. Victoria, you're on. We're sitting there and I go, and Megan had asked, have you guys shared it yet? I was like, and this is what I'm thinking. That's that stinking salesy, whatever. So I screenshot it and do all the things. And it was that black background. And I'm questioning, I'm like, this is salesy. This is dumb. So I put it on and I told them, I'll look at it. I go, I'm not doing it. I deleted it. So this was back at the beginning of October. And then then I put it on a different color and I changed the words. I put it on there and I'm like, no, but it's working for Megan. I don't want to. So I deleted it again. I think it was my fourth time, you guys, that I finally put it on there. Okay. I signed 4 people in 24 hours. And it had been a long time since I had signed 4 people like that. And I ended the month signing 10 people. Like Megan said, that was my biggest in a 1 month span. And I could feel momentum begin. But what if we had not taken that step to do the retreat, to do that thing, whether it's meeting someone at Starbucks for coffee, maybe it's doing a sip and see, a pop-up sip and see. Megan flew from Quebec to Maine, literally calls me on Thursday, was it 2 weeks ago, like in a couple days. I knew she was there on the Star Diamond trip. We were all following her, right? And text me. She's like, "Hey, if I came, what do you think about doing that?" What am I? Of course, I'm going to say yes. Come. What an amazing opportunity to have her come. We did basically 3 events. One event for Nicole down near Waterville, and then at my house, what turned into be kind of 2 events: a customer and then like 2 different groups of people. So basically, like 3 events. But what if I'd said no to that? If I had said no, that momentum would not have begun. And that began the momentum really. Our team had been working in pockets, but we began to work as a machine, as a unit that is excited. When you start seeing other people need what we have. People need our community. People need our products. People need to be on this team, you guys. We want people on this team, not on somebody else's team. Now, we are One Plexus. but we're the best. This is the best team. So we want everyone on this team because we share the Lord with them and we share supplements. We pray for people. Like it's so much fun. And so a couple of things I just want to say, reiterate, it's the face-to-face. We began that way. Now, yes, we can't always be face-to-face because we have people all over the country that are on our team. But those that you can be face-to-face with, get face-to-face with them and do it even if you have to do it imperfectly. It's wonderful to do that. Also, I was listening to the team call where Alita had talked on for us, and this one thing, and the whole thing was so good. If you haven't listened to it, you need to listen to it. But this one phrase, the work works. The work works. When you reach out to people, when you share the products, when you make those posts, again, doing the thing that makes you nervous, you need to just do it. Posting is uncomfortable for me, you guys. I'm way more comfortable in my stories, way more comfortable. It's very hard for me to put it on my wall. I'm making myself do it every single day. I'm doing the business post every day because I'm not going to stay where I'm at. Our team is going to continue to grow because what has started with just doing the next right thing and what has begun with that momentum, we're going to keep that going, Lord willing, right? We are trusting the Lord with this. It's too much fun I literally was like, oh my gosh, it is like, I don't want to not work it. It's, you know how when you're doing something, you feel passionate about it. Is every day like that? No, it's not. But when it is like that, you need to continue doing the next right thing for the glory of God. That's my goal. And we have big goals. And so do it imperfectly, do the next right thing, get face to face, and know that the work works. When you think no one is seeing that post, I've had posts that nobody likes or comments, and I have someone message me, or I see someone and they say, hey, I saw that post. And that, hello, the work works. And let me tell you, there are more. I was talking to Amy about this. I feel like I've had more discouraging or more kind of down times within this business. And I was talking to my husband about it because he's been my biggest fan, like my biggest supporter, and saying, how are things? And in the beginning, he would always pressure me and say, where are your points? Because, hey, we've been to Hawaii twice, completely paid for. And if you're going to go to Hawaii, if you're going to take a big trip, you want to do it with Plexus because they roll out the red carpet. They do it right. I remember the first time we went to Hawaii as a Jewel, I said to Kirk, I told our family, I wouldn't want to go back without Plexus. It's just getting room drops every night, getting all of the free, wonderful gifts that we get. I mean, come on, like I want to do it with Plexus. So he would always be like, how are your points? Because he likes to travel. And then it got to the point where I was like, when you ask me how my points are, I put the brakes on. So just don't ask me how my points are. And so we've come a long way, and I'm so grateful for that. I'm grateful that I did not quit when things got hard because it's so easy to do that. It's so easy. And so many times I would say, okay, Lord, I held this within, I haven't signed anybody or haven't signed that many, or, you're not seeing the growth that you want to see. You may be discouraged, and you hold it with hands that say, Lord, this is yours. And I always knew this was a gift. I didn't ask for this business. This was a gift. And maybe you did ask for this business. I'm telling you, you're on the best team, in the best business, with the best comp plan, right? It's at the right time. And so I'm excited that you're here. I hope that what I shared, my part of the story, Amy's going to share hers, is a blessing. If you ever have any questions, if you ever want to just pick my brain about something that I said, please feel free to message me. I'm an open book. I would love to be able to talk with you, encourage you, and pray for you because I love to see other people succeed in whatever they believe God's asking them to do. I love to see people win. So, Amy, take it away. And wait, Amy signed 17 last month, and she's already signed 4 this month. So, probably more since the last time I checked. So, she's a rock star. So, take it away.
Okay. So listening to Lisa share, I don't know, we haven't helped to lead a team call for a long time. So there's a lot of new faces here. So we've run together for 10 years now. And so listening to Lisa, and this is her gift, her passion, like she is a vision caster. I always say, you bring the vision and I'll bring the boots on the ground. Like you cast the vision and I'll be like, okay, guys, this is how we're going to do it. So hearing like her rah and go team go, just know that, we've had many conversations, and she said that, but behind closed doors, where, I mean, in tears, where it's like, I can remember one time, I don't think you'll care if I share, we were on a Plexus event and she got heat stroke. Like, she was really, really sick. And she's like, is this a sign I'm not supposed to do Plexus anymore? And I was like, nope, it's a sign you have heat stroke. You know what I mean? But like, that's the nature of this business, right? Like, I've never experienced anything that has crazier highs and lows. And so, like, I've been on many of these team calls when I am in a valley, and everyone else is sharing about their fast starts and their ranks and their things that they've earned. And I'm like, my camera's off, I'm muted, I have nothing to offer. Do you know what I mean? So if you're there tonight, like, that's what I want to speak to. And the fact that you're even here, you're doing more than I've done in some of my seasons in these 10 years with Plexus. And so that is the nature of this beast, the ebbs and the flows. A tiny bit of my story is, I've been here for 10 years. Like Lisa, I joined I think 6 months after her. I was a jerk face to her actually before I signed up. So, I was just teased her relentlessly. But so, we have had the crazy Emerald ranking for a long, long time. And then I had two of my strongest leaders pass away with breast cancer a few years ago. And so I've been rebuilding for a season now. My highest ranking leader, she passed away, and then a gold leader passed away. And then this past year, my daughter, she had a crazy blow up of seizures. I don't know how many of you know the story, but diagnosed with epilepsy out of the blue. She actually had brain surgery this summer. So a year of our life was spent kind of living back and forth between Boston and here. Again, the beauty of the business is you can do it bedside, right? I literally was half the time I was in her bed with her, and so that's kind of the crazy cool thing about this. But for over a year, I've done Plexus in the nooks and crannies of my life, not as a business, where I did in the beginning. And then I've always been super honest with my team about where I'm at with points. I don't think that points should be a secret. I think that, it's just me personally, but I think that when it's very easy to be in a room of Plexus people and you can hear people say what's your rank? Oh, I'm a non-ranking gold. And I'm like, no, you're actually a gold. Just say you're a gold. That's what you are. And we are not, our status, our identity is not in our points. Our identity is not in our paycheck, but also it's nothing to be, I want to have shame not attached to you know what I mean? There's going to be ebbs and flows. And what I want my team to see is that if Amy can rebuild again, so can I, and so it makes me emotional when I talk about it, because it is a crazy, wild business. And so we've had a crazy, wild season in our business. And so Lisa and I, what we shared with at our retreat, vision trickles down, and we've had a lot of seasons where we don't have it. And we're like, well, if we don't have it, then our team doesn't have it. And if we don't have passion, then our team's not going to have passion. And so that's one thing that we talked about when we had this little retreat. We were like, what do we want our leaders to take away? And it was small. We only invited the leaders of our legs. And so that's 5 people, and only 3 could come. And so, but we said, what we want to do is we want to get in their space and together kind of cast and create vision for and with each other so that they go back to their people and let's see what happens. Let's see what can trickle down, And so, we know that you can carry both pride and shame at the same time, and both joy and pain at the same time. And that's okay, and there's seasons and there's ebbs and flows and there's all of these things. And so when Lisa and I were talking about it, I said, I think what I want to share at the beginning when we get together with our leaders is I want us to do some heart work before we do some work. Because this whole thing is mental, right? This whole thing, if you're in a bad headspace, then you show up in a bad way. You don't show up with energy and with passion and whatever. And so Angie had shown, she recorded these little clips from one of the talks on the ship for the Emerald Retreat, which I didn't earn, by the way, because I didn't re-rank Emerald. And so, but she shared these little clips and they just resonated with me. And I was like, okay, this is where I'm at. And this is what I want to share with our people. But, we know what it's like to achieve something. We know what it's like to go backwards. And then we know what it's like. Are we going to pick ourselves up again, or are we going to stay where we are? The only guarantee of you not succeeding in this business is if you walk away. The only guarantee of you not hitting a rank is if you quit. right? Because you never know what could happen. And you hold it loosely. And I've always said, Lord, this is yours. If you tell me to walk away, I'll walk away tomorrow. If you tell me to run harder, I'm going to run harder. And there were seasons where I couldn't run harder. You know what I mean? And so, but anyway, so one of these things that Angie had sent to us, the question that was asked on the cruise, and so I'm going to ask you guys, and I want you to type it in the chat thread, okay, is what is one thought, and you may not even be thinking about it consciously. Like I didn't think about it consciously until this was asked of me, and I knew it immediately. It was, what is one thought that's just mulling around in the back of your head that is not serving you, that is not serving your business, and that's maybe holding you back. And I remember listening to this on my walk. I walk my dogs every day up and down my driveway. And as soon as she said that, as soon as she asked that question, the thought that went into my brain was, you had a good run. You had a good run, Aim. You lasted 10 years. You know, you stayed a strong senior Ruby. It's probably not meant to be that you go any higher. Your team's not really doing much. You know, you lost a couple leaders. Your daughter's had brain surgery. You had a good run, you know? And so that was my thought that came immediately. And I never even really verbalized it, never even really thought about it consciously until that came, you know? And so what's one painful thought you've had surrounding your Plexus business in these past 6 months to a year, a repeating thought that you're holding on to that maybe you've not even thought, and maybe I should also say, maybe you're on this call and you're like on the mountaintop and you like have fast ranked. I know a couple of Megan, your daughter-in-law. I was like, what a cool thing to do this with your brand new daughter-in-law. Like, what a gift. And so if that's you, like own that and celebrate that and live in that, but know that probably valleys are going to come, and that's okay, right? We grow in the valleys, right? And also you learn compassion in the valleys. I've taken such great pride in my consistency. I'm so consistent. I show up every day, and for a year I'm like, well, not so much, you know, but that's okay. That's okay. And so anyways, I'm not sure where I was going with this, but anyways, let me just, so in the chat thread, just what I'm saying is this may not resonate with you now, but maybe tuck it in the back of your mind. And maybe there will be a day when you're like bummed out, your best friend yelled at you, said, you know, you get screamed at online. I have a shirt that says, but did you die? Like, you know, you're not going to die, and people's opinions don't pay your bills. And, you know, like, it's okay. But so you will probably have some valley seasons anyways. And so that was the thought. Okay. And so then she's like, that thought's not serving you. And so how can we learn to replace this thought? Let's replace this thought with a victorious belief, a victorious thought, right? The Bible says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And so I'm always like, Jesus already did his part. You know, he died for us. And so when you speak things out, when you bring things to the light, they lose their power. They lose their power. And when you speak them out in front of your people vulnerably, then your people come alongside you and they lift your arms. Right? That's what our whole life was. This year when we were in Boston with London's crazy seizures, we were like, what is happening? But we were lifted. Our arms were lifted, right? So, and if you could replace that thought, what if instead you focus on what are all the gifts that you have in your life right now that you wouldn't have had if Plexus hadn't entered your life? Put that in the chat thread. What are some things that you have now that you would never have had? My husband was chronically, horribly sick. I have these beautiful friendships of people I've never met before in my life. My personal growth, I tell you what, it's like a personal growth education. It's like a college education with a compensation check, like the way we've grown the way you have to grow in this business, right? So what if we instead focused on those things? And when we begin to think about things, we begin to act differently, right? So this is what we talked about as a team. And this was the beginning of the rebirth for me of like, you know, we made these little, I put pennies on a train track and we made these little necklaces. I said, you know, if you can change that thought with a victorious belief, a victorious thought, what could that thought be? And so for me, it was like, I can rise again. You know, instead of I had a good run, it's I can rise again. I can do this again. You know, people do it all the time. And I'll have to do it again, probably again someday. And so I typed, well, I didn't, I pounded it with a hammer, the word rise. What was yours, Lisa?
Mine was do it again.
Do it again. Right? Yeah. Okay. And so good, right? Hang on. I just want to see. So, okay. And so we were just saying like our rebuild or your build, it doesn't start with points. It doesn't start with a paycheck, right? It starts right here. And this is why we have these team calls. This is why we have these retreats. This is why we have get togethers. This is why it's important to be in each other's space, because this is an online business. And so we have to, the battle begins here in our mind, right? This is where our own worst enemy. And so, oh, so this was a Craig Rochelle. She gave a quote on the ship. It was, I don't know if you guys follow Craig Rochelle. He's a pastor. He has a podcast, but he's like he's a little bit a tough love, but he's like, quit whining. You're smart. Fix it. And so I was like, okay, that's good. I receive that, quit whining. You're smart. Fix it. And so that was for Lisa and I. It was, okay, the next right thing is we're going to host a retreat for our leaders. Maybe they'll come, maybe they won't, but she and I will be in each other's space for 24 hours and we will. And then the next right thing was, like Megan said, making that silly little post, that spurred a lot of conversation. The next right thing was Megan said, hey, I'm coming. Let's do a little retreat. I am a planner. I am not whatever Lisa's letter is on the disc.
So let me just say this. Can I just say what happened was, so that when Megan had texted me that, I couldn't get a hold of Amy to say, okay, I think she's pretty sure she's coming, remember? So I was like, because we don't really talk at night. We do our family things. So I'm texting her, Amy.
Can we chat? Can we chat?
Amy, come on.
Yeah.
So she's like,
Megan's coming. Do you want to do an event? I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. And so, but that, right. If we want things to change, you have to make pivots. And for me, I hate events. I'm just going to say it. And so, but now we've done them and we're doing them consistently. So that's a pivot that we're making. Right. And actually I learned I didn't die and it was actually fun. But another pivot was, I could have said, well, you know what, if you'd given us more time, I could have invited more people and it could have been successful. Instead, I said, okay, I've got basically 20 hours. I canceled my Friday plans and I sat my butt on the couch and I invited the world to this event. 8 people came. Okay. So, but still, for Maine, we're so stinking independent. We don't like going out at night. We don't like, it was successful. And I had a customer who signed up the day before, come that day with a buddy. And I mean, what that sparked on our team was this beginning of new life. Right? And so one analogy that was given is we need to think of our business like a GPS, like, the GPS in your car if you're going somewhere. Like if we take a wrong turn or if we don't necessarily go the right way for a while, like your GPS doesn't say you suck, go home, it's over, it's done. It's like rerouting, redirecting, you'll get there eventually. It just might take a little bit longer. It might be a different way than you had planned to go. But if we can kind of view our business like that, it's like rerouting. Okay. So we rerouted a little bit and we, we were down and now we're back up and now we're rebuilding and there's going to be other slumps and things. That's okay. Right. Just that's a beautiful thing. And so, okay, let me just see. And so, okay, okay, this was one thing we talked about. We need to have it intentional, offensive, like being on the offense, right? Not being offensive, but being on the offense. Practice with our thoughts, right? That's how everything started in the Bible. Like the fall of man, it started with Satan getting Adam and Eve to question, did God really say that? Is that really what it is? Right? And that's what can happen here. Am I really a good leader? Can I really do this? Can I really inspire someone to join my team? Can I really hold on to that team? Those are all questions where that's the battle, right? And so that's why I love that verse, we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. We need to have truth. We need to be surrounded by truth. We need to surround ourselves with people who will speak truth into us and who will lift us. So, okay. So, least anything else we had talked about? I just had a couple. So just the takeaways. Did you guys write your thought that's not serving you? Replace it with a victorious thought, right? Mm-hmm. If the big thing for Lisa and I think too is in this new momentum that we have is, what is one thing that you've been avoiding doing that you won't die if you implement? And for me particularly, like I said, I really don't like sip and teas. I don't like events. They're just not my thing. I like being home at night. And so Megan coming and us doing pretty much back-to-back ones, and it was fun and it was simple, and it doesn't have to be like this amazing, like glorious thing. It can just be super simple. Now we're popping them up all over with our team. We're popping them up over, and we're doing standing Tuesday get-togethers at Starbucks. Whoever wants to come can come. And what you find is the more you do it, the sweeter it gets. And the more you do it, it does become fun. It's sweet. And so one thing you've been avoiding doing that you wouldn't die if you implemented, right?
So there's, sorry, I was going to interject one thing. There's power in this, in the area where whatever you're afraid of, if there's an area that thought that's coming to you that just continually is there, like I'm looking at some of them here, like that, am I a leader? Can I be a good leader? Or fear of failure, or there's lots of them. Here's the thing. We do the opposite of what the fear is telling us to do, because fear is a liar and fear can't have any hold or control. Like it only controls us to the ability that we give it the control. And we know that the devil is the father of lies. And so we have to decide to do the opposite. And so every time, like I talked about that posting thing, that's hard for me, and I'm doing it and it gets easier. The more you do it, the easier it gets. And the same thing, like Amy's talking about the events, you end up finding out we have fun. You know what I mean? It's so worth it. And so I just wanted to bring that up. Like it's usually the opposite. You've got to do the opposite of what that negative thought is. You replace it with scripture. You replace it with a godly thought, but it's got to be based on the word. But then you got to put action. You got to put feet to your faith. And so you've got to end up doing something that's opposite of what that fear is telling you to do or not to do.
Yeah, so good. So good. And as a team, we talked about, like, when we sat as leaders, we said, what are some little pivots that we can do? Because like, if you want something to change, you can't always keep doing the same thing. Right. And so as leaders, like and so what are like realistic pivots, not this grand sweeping thing that we know we can sustain for a month? Like what are some, really, specific incremental pivots, but like a big ship moving incrementally, or a jet moving incrementally, it's over time, it's going to move the whole ship. And so for us, it was, we're going to go back to once a month team calls. We're going to go back to a weekly get together at Starbucks. And Lisa and I committed to, if nobody else shows, we're going to do it. And maybe someday it might just be me doing it, or maybe just Lisa doing it, but one of us is going to show. Do you know what I mean? And to start acting like the diamonds we will one day be. Remember Alita saying that? So when she became a diamond, she's like, oh yeah, here I am. I've always been there. Do you know what I mean? And trusting the Lord with the details. One of my favorite verses is He delights in the details of our lives. And so part of that piece is every day praying, Lord, bring me people who need the products, bring me people who need the business, and being a good steward of what you have now, so that as it grows, He'll trust you with more. He'll increase your territory. So that's what I got.
Lisa and Amy, that was awesome. Unbelievable. You guys, these are two strong women. I don't know if you guys know, we've been slinging this pink drink for a decade now. And so they're pretty awesome. And the neat thing about not just Plexus, just this team, I would say, is that I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, Plexus is just kind of where we meet and some things we meet, but it's not necessarily who we are. But I don't even know how to explain it. It's just really special. For whatever reason, this team has come together over the last 10 years, and there's still people coming together. And some of the things that happen off of these Zoom calls that happen kind of behind the scenes, just with encouraging people, helping one and praying with one another. It's really pretty special. And we're extremely grateful for all of you guys, especially you two. That was really awesome. And Amy, I was thinking you said you invited the whole world and only 8 came. And I was like, it's like Noah. You invited the whole world, like 8 showed up. Like you're in you're in good hands.
I was pleased with 8 though. That's pretty good for Maine.
Yeah, so that was awesome. I was going to read something just to help everybody here, because a lot of this business and talking to people this is not easy. You can get told no a lot. You second guess yourself a lot. There's a lot more no's than yes. This business, to be successful at all, you have to overcome. Are they done that thing?
No,
Okay. You have to overcome certain things you have to keep moving forward, and you have to overcome. You'll start out, if you're just starting out, there's several new people on here, which is awesome. Maybe
Hopefully
you're
we
afraid
didn't scare you guys.
What's that?
Hopefully we didn't scare the new ones.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're good. I think they're still on, so that's good. And so but let's say if you're afraid to talk to a friend, or maybe you're afraid to post, or maybe you're afraid to do a live or whatever. The thing is, overcome that and overcome it quickly, because there's another one waiting. Like there's another bigger fear waiting. Is this just life? It's not really even network marketing. The interesting thing about network marketing is it's just like life on steroids. It's like life faster. And you learn to overcome some of these things that some people never even attempt to combat at all. And so in this business, you're forced, if you're committed and you're going to keep going and you're going to have a level of success, you have to combat fears. And so like this business, again, it's not easy. And so some of the things that they were saying, is coming to mind.
Everybody seemed to like it. I'll have to keep it on the thing.
It says, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. And so that's Proverbs 18:21. You can read it. Just make sure I'm telling you the truth. But the death and life are in the power of the tongue. And so one thing I want to encourage everybody with, whether this is Plexus or whether this is your marriage or your children or your own health or whatever the issue, whatever the life issue may be, this still is true. And so take inventory. If any of those areas, if you're not exactly where you want to be in life, even your Plexus business, pay attention and take inventory to the words you're using to speak. What kind of words do you speak when you speak of that, your Plexus business, or your whatever the thing may be? It's really interesting. And so you may be speaking life over it. You might be prophesying death over your own Plexus business. And so you have to look at all your words as like seeds. So it says like, they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So every word that we're saying is like a seed going to produce some sort of fruit down the road. And so just take inventory of how you're speaking about yourself, how you're speaking about your situation, how you're speaking about life, how you're about Plexus, how you're speaking about your points, how you're speaking about the people you're reaching out. Take inventory of that. Like really take some time and consider that. I know some people might think, oh, this is out there. Yeah, probably. But hey, we've been out there for over 10 years doing this, and we're going to keep doing it. And so like pay attention to what you say and start speaking life over your business. And if it's one of those things like, I really don't feel like showing up today. Okay. And I don't either. And so you show up anyway. I'm just going to go through the motions. Well, then go through the motions and keep going through the motions until you feel like doing it. Like the feeling piece of it has nothing to do with it. Speak truth over your situation. Speak life over your situation. But really take inventory of how you're speaking about your business and how you're speaking about the people out there. It's like nobody wants to talk to me, like nobody, and you go through these things in this business, like everybody hates me, right? All these things, and but it's not true. Those things aren't true. And so we have to just keep coming back to truth. What is truth? What is life?
Sometimes they
speak
feel
those
true.
things.
Not every day, but
very rarely has anybody ever spoken really terribly to me about Plexus.
no, but how you feel, like if
Yeah,
you
but
know, you're
your
talking to a lot of
feelings,
people and a lot of people aren't replying. But you've said for years it takes a lot of conversations.
it does take a lot of conversation. A lot of notes. So anyway, consider those things. I just wanted to share that with you guys real quick. And again, Amy and Lisa, awesome. Super proud of you guys.
So good. Can you guys chime in the chat just some gratitude for them sharing out of their wisdom and the things that are working right now and what resonated with you specifically? Like chime in the chat. Like let's blow up the chat and show them how thankful we are that they popped on and shared.
One thing I wanted to say is they shared not necessarily from the mountaintop. I mean, it was a good month, but they shared, a little bit out of disappointment or out of hurt or
Hard things.
just hard life things.
Yeah.
And so, and I think sometimes that speaks louder than from a mountaintop.
Yeah, totally. Okay. So we have a couple of homeworks. I would like you guys to chime. So all of you are in some sort of team chat, but all of you are. We also have a Ruby accountability chat and like a gold accountability chat. So in whatever chat you're in, or if you want to put it in more than one chat, we would like you to put your victorious thought in the chat. If you want to put your negative subconscious thought also in there, that's totally fine. And then the new victorious thought that you're going to choose to practice, because this is a choice and it does take practice. And then the one thing that you're implementing that maybe you've been avoiding or that you haven't done yet. If you're brand new, maybe there's some things that you have not done that yet, but that are on your brain that you want to implement. And we promise you won't die. Then don't forget to pray. Our team has, from the very beginning of this team, we've encouraged people to pray over their business and with expectancy, like prayed in faith, right? Knowing that God's going to direct us to who we need to help, whether products, business, both, whatever that looks like, whether it's someone that God gives us, a name that's on our brain, or, maybe it's a post that we make and someone reaches out from it. But I think that if we're trying to do this in our own strength, it's just striving. And it's important to commit it to the Lord so that he can help us with it. Okay, and drum roll, last thing, and then we'll hop off of here. I totally forgot to announce this on the Ruby call, but in I don't know how to say this, but feeling very inspired by what Lisa and Amy chose to do, the next best thing. And also part of this business is just going with the intuition. Can you guys still hear us? I feel like there's a lag. Okay. Going with the intuition. And sometimes you get an intuitive thought, like me being in Quebec City, not even realizing where geographically I really was. I'm like, I knew I was north, but I came off a really big father-son camp weekend and then hopped on a plane out of O'Hare to somewhere called Quebec City. And I get there, I'm like, Lisa, I'm like 3 hours away from you. Never dawned on me that I could like plan ahead, right? So the last day I was there, I was like, the thought came to me like, I could change my plans and my plane and just go there and then go home. And so isn't that crazy? Okay, so here's my idea. So Lisa and Amy totally sparked something in me. So once they said they hosted a one-day retreat, like I can do a one-day retreat. Why can't I do a one-day retreat? Right? So I'm going to host, if you're local to me, or even if you're not local and you want to come in for this, I'm going to host a one-day working retreat on November 22nd. Now, I'm sorry if you are a big shotgun season hunter here, but or you can still shotgun hunt and then come here and then go back and go out in the woods and hunt again. But I'm going to do it on the 22nd. The guys, my people are all going to be busy hunting and stuff, but I thought, well, that will be perfect. It's right before Thanksgiving. And there's going to be a lot of things to work on together. So 22nd of November, I don't have all the details ironed out yet. That's all I have is that we're doing a one-day retreat, November 22nd, and I'll get the details out to you guys. So please let me know. You're going to have to RSVP because I have some ideas of like some things I want to do and to prepare ahead of time so that we have a really efficient seamless, hopefully, work session together during the day and have some activities and fun things to do. But I do need like solid commitments from those of you who want to come. And especially if you're going to be coming from out of town, please keep me posted. So that's it. Thank you, Amy and Lisa, for sharing. Man, it was so good. We'll see you in the chats, and I cannot wait. This is going to be a great kickoff into the end of the year, because right now sets up January 2026. It doesn't start on the 1st of January. It starts now. We have 27 days left in November. We run on cyclical months, so we're not waiting till the end of the month to like see what happens and then cram, right? We'll be working consistently throughout the month. There's 58 days till the new year, and then make sure you set your calendars, mark on your calendars for Super Saturday. That's our second biggest training event of the year, and there's 68 days until Super Saturday. We are co-hosting and helping at a local location, like a live location in Springfield, Illinois. So those of you who want to come up for that or come over for that, we're going to be doing that in Springfield. Super Saturday. So 68 days, plenty of time to make some things happen, but front loading is definitely always the best option as we head into the new year. So, okay, you guys have a great week, and looking forward to seeing all your victorious thoughts in the chat. All right.
See you
Cheers,
guys.
Bye.